Good evening, my fellow human beings. Thanks for tuning in to the Worldview Bros, where truth is too important to give up on. I'm Sal, and this is my brother Jim, a.k.a. Slippin' Jimmy, a.k.a. Butterbeard, a.k.a. Brogo Baggins, a.k.a. Jim the Winkless, a.k.a. the Dukinator, a.k.a. Jimbo Slice, a.k.a. Discount Shapiro, a.k.a. Jimmy Cocoa Puff Jim. I did pretty good on that one, didn't I?
You know, you did pretty well, yeah. You did forget Jim Sanity.
Jim Sanity?
Jim Sanity.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah, people all the time, they're like, hey, there goes Jim Sanity.
That makes me, are you playing a lot of basketball or something? It makes me think of Vinsanity.
No, it just sounds cool.
Yeah,
so
like
I'm going with it.
I dig it. I dig it, Jim Sanity. So, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm a little nervous, I have to say.
Yeah.
But
I'll tell you why he's nervous. I will tell you. Well, today on this glorious episode of the Worldview Bros. Hey, I should mention actually. Hey, we're on video. Hey, how you doing? Right? It's been a while.
I know.
I'm glad. Yeah. I'm glad to. Wait, that doesn't work that way. I was about to say I'm glad to see your face. I'm glad for you to see our faces. Right.
Yeah.
That sounds great. Anyways, Today on this glorious episode of the Worldview Bros, we're kicking up the heat.
Okay.
We're turning up the temp.
Oh, okay.
We're dragging you to hell.
Oh, okay.
Too much? Too much?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're eating hot wings. So, if for any of you guys who you might be familiar with the show Hot Ones, we're going to do our normal show, and kind of in between, we're going to be eating these and just trying to do the challenge. You know, we want to see if we can handle the heat.
No problem. We got the Mexican DNA, dude.
Yeah,
Come on, we got it.
No big deal. We got Valentina.
Oh yeah.
You know, we've been eating that since we were like 3
a
years
baby.
old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
they put it in our parents put it in our bottles. So that's what's going on. Yeah. So before I talk anymore, we get into anything else, we're gonna have our first wing.
Let's do the first one. Yeah.
So the first one is Valentina. Okay. The black label. There's two Valentinas.
That's right. There's the black label.
Yeah. So this one's a little bit hotter. And yeah. So here we go. The Scoville for this one is 2,100.
All right. Let's go.
Pardon our eating, guys. Get the nice crunch in the microphone. So I'm a little nervous because it's already pretty spicy.
Dang, that black label. See, we use the regular label, which is a lot better. It's not too hot. It's got a great flavor. We put that on chips.
Yeah.
So I don't usually go for the black label. Dude, that's
It's pretty good though on the wings. Like I'm gonna start using that for normal like wing sauces.
Yeah, that's actually pretty good.
Yeah, nice. Have you watched anything lately or?
No, just The Last Dance. So I was watching that. So it's finished, and man, that was really
cool.
Hey,
I see the shirt Seinfeld.
Sure. Big fan.
Did you watch the stand-up on Netflix?
Yeah. What's it called? Like 23 Hours to Kill, right?
Yeah. Oh, like it's this. You guys, if you haven't, you need to go to Netflix and check out the stand-up. If you're into stand-up comedy, I mean, this guy's like the OG. You know, like, and he's just on a roll the whole time. So funny. Like the buffet one, I was just laughing so hard. Like, you guys need to check this out. It was so funny. Speaking of The Last Dance, he was in The Last Dance. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and it's like there's the funny part where he's like walking and
he's like, "Hey, fellas," or something.
Yeah. You know, like in his, that Seinfeld voice.
I know.
Hey, Phil.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, you have a great game or whatever.
And he was so awkward with Michael Jordan because Michael Jordan's not even like, oh, I watch your show. He was like, oh, these guys watch your show all the time.
Yeah, he probably barely knows who he is.
Like, we're both super famous, but we're like meeting each other.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Huh.
So, hey Jim, we have to make sure that we're not touching our face.
Oh snap! Yeah.
Eating this.
Yeah, or you know the
our eyes, you know.
No, or the fumes of coronavirus billowing all over outside. So, I mean, don't do that either. But
yeah. So, I did want to mention a little bit more on The Last Dance.
Okay.
So we've been talking about it. We've been talking about every show, right? And if you're not a basketball fan, just tune out for a second. If you're a basketball fan, you need to go watch it. I thought it was really cool. Like, I wanted to ask you actually, like, are a lot of these moments, like especially against the Jazz.
Oh.
Because I know for you, like at this point, you're older in 97, 98, right?
Sure.
So like.
Oh yeah, I remember those
a lot
games.
of those,
Absolutely.
those things like Kerr's shot. And,
Yes.
And the flu game and all that
The flu game,
stuff.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, wow. I was, dude, like I'm on the floor, like in front of the TV.
So like, what are you thinking in those times? Like, or how was it for you watching, like going back?
Oh, I kept thinking, I mean, MJ's gonna fix this. Like, I would be devastated every time they would lose a game. Like, how is it possible for MJ to even lose a game?
Yeah,
that was my mentality.
Wow.
And I wasn't a little kid. I was, I guess, like 12? How old was I? I would have been like 14 or something at this point for the 97.
Yes.
I'm still like, dude, he's freaking Superman. I mean, he's obviously going to correct this like right away.
Yes.
Or like, with the Utah Jazz, like they went 4-2. I'm like, obviously, of course, they allowed the Jazz to win so that they could get their trophy at home.
Right. Yeah.
I would always think that.
Or kind of like there's the whole thing with the in the '96 when they do the 72 and 10, and then there like I heard someone talking about how did Jordan like give up the two games so that then he could win it on Father's Day on Sunday.
Yeah.
And then and this is going back to like episodes 6 and 7 and 8. And the whole like Michael Jordan rolling on the ground, like crying, and I mean like that was. I remember I've seen those pictures.
Sure.
But like hearing it out loud, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, let's dig into the sriracha.
Yeah. Okay. Sriracha. Everybody knows sriracha.
Sriracha is like sweeter than you think. It definitely has a sweetness to it.
Dude, I love sriracha. I mean. Actually, just having it on its own here, just with a little salt and pepper, it's like, dude, this sauce is so tasty. Just the garlic and the sweetness.
Before we go on, guys, you need to go follow us on Instagram. You need to follow us on Twitter. Our last show, we talked about beauty. Okay, go check it out on our podcast. We talked about beauty, and one of the things I mentioned was a challenge on Instagram that we've been doing. And it's 100 grams of beauty. So hashtag 100 grams of beauty. And then, we want to challenge you guys to, on your own Instagram, it doesn't have to be daily, but post daily if you want. It could be 100 days or 2 in one day, whatever. 100 Instagram posts of something that's beautiful. It doesn't have to be nature. It's not all nature. We've posted things like title of some of the greatest things that we've read, like Baron and Luthien, J.R. Tolkien, right? I've posted some nature. I've posted other things. We've posted a lot of different things.
Yeah,
and
a song that is beautiful. Like exactly, beauty is everywhere. Beauty is everywhere.
Or whatever it is. So you guys go ahead and post that and make sure to put the hashtag 100 grams of beauty and then put hashtag the Worldview Bros so we can see it. Like our page on Facebook or email us at theworldviewbros@gmail.com with your comments, concerns, and questions.
Yeah.
Questions, comments, concerns.
There right. Okay, that sounds better.
Yeah, that's
fantastic.
That flows a little bit. No. Right. So here we go. Today, what we're going to be the more things we're going to be talking about. I already said we're going to bring back some of our segments that we love to do here on the Worldview Bros, and we're going to talk about science. Okay, and we're gonna just break down some of this more COVID stuff and really, dig into kind of the numbers.
Okay.
Here we go, Jim. So, kind of guide us through what we're talking about today.
Yeah, sure. So
but before we do that,
okay, the next wing.
Here we go.
Okay.
Let's take the Tapatio.
You know what? I feel like the Valentina Black Label was hotter than Sriracha. Somehow, I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess they were kind of close in the Scoville, but whatever.
Here we go. So we're going Tapatio. And
Tapatio.
We're kicking up the notch here. It's at 3,000 Scoville. It's kind of dried up a little bit. So I don't know if we're getting the same.
No, we should.
It's a little weak.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're like in the.
Are you sure that's spicier than? Dude, I'm telling you, number one has been the spiciest for me.
No, yeah, seriously.
No, so the question of the day is what is science, or science versus scientism? This is something we've discussed before in the show. I just wanted to highlight it again because it's such a predominant issue right now. I think what we have seen with the quarantine, with the concerns for COVID-19 is a good example where you can see science versus scientism. And just the very fact of me bringing it up, I can guarantee you that some of the audience are already kind of bristling like, oh my gosh, like, what's going to be your angle with this? Guys, if that's your sensation, if you're like bristling up because I'm going to say something about COVID-19, that's a symptom of the disease. Well, sorry, I didn't mean that. It's a symptom of the disease of scientism that we are under.
It's COVID. You've gotten COVID,
yeah, okay.
And you're not just not thinking clearly.
Yeah. No, look, I get it. Like, people don't want to see their aunt like raving on Facebook and coming up with stuff, and then the feeling is mutual for your aunt. Your aunt doesn't want you like concern trolling her. Like, it's just here's the. I wrote a whole bunch of this, and I'm trying to like just really I really want to go straight to the nugget of what this is, and. If you are invoking science as a club to bludgeon somebody with, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're invoking science as a mace, as a tool to bludgeon somebody else, that's an example of scientism. It's an example of perverting science. You're using it in a way that it's not meant to be used.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. Look, I'm going to tell you straight up. The issue that we've had with this disease is, of course, a deeply political situation. It's a deeply political problem, as it should be, because it is a political question. It's not a question about the science. It's a question about what do you do with information that you get.
Right, yeah.
Now, look, that's not to say that some people don't put some false science out there. I get it. But very often, if we really analyze all the situations where people raise a red flag and they say that's fake science, we're getting way too much of that than what it really is. Look, before, let me step back a little bit. Let's really try to define again, okay, what are you talking about? What is science and what is scientism? It's not super easy to define science because we've kind of had... we've had its meaning change a little bit with time. If you really just take the etymology of the word science, all it means is knowledge. Okay, the word science means knowledge.
Yeah.
But of course, we don't really mean that when we say science, and that's fair. That's fine. We have a certain connotation to it, and that's fine. Now, I think I teach science, and let's see what you think of this definition. I don't think anybody would take any issue with this.
Yeah.
That what science is it is a way of obtaining knowledge, but more specifically, it's a way of obtaining knowledge in a certain way. It's a way of obtaining knowledge by using what we call scientific method. And that means that you observe and you make tests, and you are only going to make conclusions off of it if you know that it's something that you can replicate, right? So replication is a very important ingredient and a very important method that is used to obtain scientific knowledge.
Yeah.
Also, it has to be falsifiable, so you need to be able to test it. If you establish the premises such that it can't be falsified, then that's not real science either.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think going a little bit more deeply, in my opinion, another key ingredient to science is that it's obtaining knowledge with a certain method, and it's obtaining a certain kind of knowledge that can only be inferred from physical senses. So I'm a physics teacher. The word physical there to me is very important. Okay, so science is a way of obtaining knowledge that we can obtain from the physical world with our physical senses. Yeah. There are things that are obviously transcendent of physical senses. A very simple one can simply be language itself or mathematics. Right. Mm-hmm. It already encompasses your senses. Like, but it's not something that you're putting under a microscope. You can't put a word under a microscope and observe it physically.
Yeah.
Same thing with logic and mathematics.
So music, you can't put.
Yeah, so I'm not saying anything mumbo jumbo. Like there's a deep mystery to what rash reasoning even is in the first place. Okay,
yeah, right.
It's something
Definitely.
that kind of escapes just the senses. Let me give you an idea of what science can't do very well. Science is very good at analyzing a certain amount of data, and it's very good at solving a certain problem, but it's not necessarily good at giving you direction as to what you're supposed to be investigating in the first place, or what kind of knowledge you're supposed to get in the first place. And a really good example that stuck with me, I know you've seen this one before, Sal. This is a sample that John Lennox gives. John Lennox is a mathematics professor in Oxford, so clearly, a stupid guy. But the example that he gives about science is, if you have a pot of boiling water, what is the science there? Okay. Well, again, science being what it is, with the connotation that we typically give to it, which is kind of finding the knowledge of the physical things that are happening there. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, you're boiling the water. Well, you can get into the chemistry of the fire. The gases are expanding and exothermic, right?
Yeah.
And you have the water molecules that are gaining kinetic energy and they're bouncing off each other and they start to go into a gaseous phase. Okay. So oh my gosh, it's science. It's so great.
Yeah.
And and the question might have been like, why is the water boiling? And so you go into that whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh, the water's boiling because let me tell you about the gases and the molecules. Okay.
Right.
And then somebody else is like, oh no, the water's boiling because Jim Sanity over there put the pot of water on there because he wanted to make some tea, some delicious tea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, where did science come in there?
Yeah.
Think about that, guys. Like, think about it. Why is the water boiling? One way of looking at it is scientific method. That can only go so far. Like you grab that whole scientific mechanism and you put it in place.
Right.
But in that situation, that actually is probably the more pertinent answer. The more pertinent answer is the one that has to do with a person's will. Okay, mm-hmm. The reason why. Okay.
Is to give us some sweet tea.
Absolutely. Okay.
Yeah.
And you can kind of ascend that ladder of meaning.
Right.
Like, why are you doing that in the first place? Well, why? I did that because maybe I needed some sustenance.
Yeah.
Right. I needed to get a little bit of nutrition in there. I guess tea has a little bit of nutrition. I don't know. But why do you want that nutrition? Well, so that I can keep living my life and so that I can do the things that I want to do in my life. Yeah. Oh, what is it that you want to do? Oh, well, right. I want to be happy. So you start ascending the ladder of meaning, okay? And in between, science is simply used as a tool to
that was my question for you. Yeah.
To just get knowledge in a physical sense of something.
Right. So going back to what you're talking about, if I'm getting this right, what we're saying is that science, not necessarily that it's not absolute, because you can have facts in science that's like this proves this, right?
Okay.
But science isn't necessarily like your only source of knowledge, right?
No.
Because if it's your only source of knowledge, like you had said, then it means that it's not really necessary. I mean, it's not really scientific.
It's blind, right? Ultimately. Like then you're kind of left with just blind systems. You're left with just processes.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. Like, I wouldn't even say that science is facts. Science is not facts or facts. That's fine. And again, that's kind of a little bit of a misnomer. I know it's in the name, like science means knowledge, but that's not actually the connotation that we've given it. Let me put it this way. What we know as science today is something that had a different name in the past, which was called natural philosophy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So the name is a little bit misleading. Mm-hmm. What I'm telling you here is that science isn't facts. Science is a method of obtaining knowledge.
Yeah, right.
But the kind of knowledge that you're trying to obtain is one that is physical.
So can science? So if someone were to ask you, and this is straight up question for me, like can science be an absolute? Like, can it? The questions that it raises, or
so like when people say like the science is settled on this thing, right?
Right,
like, you can't go against science. Like, what does that mean to go against science?
Is there any point where that can happen with science?
I think that the best scientists would tell you yes and no. Be careful with that. Sure, there can be a lot of consensus on something, but it's always the scientific attitude is always.
It could be different.
Yeah, I mean, let's see. I mean, maybe try to prove me otherwise.
Exactly.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's
something that can always be proven and tweaked.
It's falsifiable. Absolutely. Like you present me the situation where this particular thing is not true, and we'll look at it. A scientist should never be shutting anybody up.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what? It's interesting to me. I think that's a beautiful way, not only to let's step back away from science. Mm-hmm. I think just that mentality of living your life is a healthy way to live.
Oh, sure.
Right? Not to live in a sense of like, I'm the greatest basketball player in the world. I won 6 championships and I'm the best. That's it. I'm done. Yes. Right? No, it's, how can I continue to grow? How can I continue to improve and be a better person in this earth?
Absolutely, and that's actually the history of science. Like after Isaac Newton, and in the late 1800s, and this is of course much later than Isaac Newton, but in the late 1800s, there's a feeling in the scientific community that they figured everything out. Like pretty much everything was known, and it turns out that they were wrong in many respects. There's the Michelson-Morley experiment on light kind of showed everybody that hang on, there are deeper mysteries here. Yeah. So it's of course the scientists should never kind of go into that hubris that that things are perfectly established. Yeah. Look, on the other hand, it's you shouldn't you shouldn't refrain from rebuking somebody who's very flippantly just going against something that's pretty well scientifically established, but you don't use the force of government to shut them up, or it wouldn't be a good practice to just get them out of your platform from YouTube or something like that. Mm-hmm. Let me give you some. So what is scientism? Let's look at some examples. So you guys have probably heard of the famous Carl Sagan from the show Cosmos. Mm-hmm. And so Carl Sagan says, the cosmos is all that is, or ever was, or ever will be. Just a statement of fact. The cosmos is all that cosmos is all that is, or ever was, or ever will be. Here's what a scientist would actually ask. How do you know that? How do you know that for sure?
Exactly.
Okay, seriously? I mean, that's a very much a scientistic phrase, and it's that evokes the feeling of scientism. Yeah, that you're kind of treating this science as like a religion almost. Mm-hmm. Paul Thagard asks, "What is reality? Those things and processes identified by well-established fields of science, using theories backed by evidence drawn from systematic observations and experiments." Hey, that's actually kind of a good description of what science is. Yeah. But how did he start that? What is reality? So he's basically saying that science explains all of reality. And that's what scientism is. Scientism is the idea that the answer to everything is found in science. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what I believed when I was young, when I was kind of a child. Okay, yeah. That was my belief. You guys know why I believe that? Because it's obviously in the air. I'm obviously picking that up from the culture. Right, yeah. That if you want to know the truth about things, obviously you need to be a scientist. That's how you find the truth of everything. Yeah. I'm very aware of this in the air. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it took some brilliant people to knock that crap out of my head. Yeah. And to understand what science is and its truth. That true science actually has the humility not to believe that it has the answers to everything. Yeah, okay. Yeah, definitely. So, the ancient tradition, I think, has it right, where how should we think about this? ultimately, philosophy is the search for truth in all of its forms. And you have to be completely open as to where that can come from.
Yeah.
Okay? It does require kind of a sensibility that not all things that are simply physically tangible with your five senses is something that you should consider to be true. You know, what's another example of scientism? You know, the YouTube CEO, Susan Wojcicki. How do you say that? Wojcicki.
Wojcicki?
Yeah. So the YouTube CEO, Susan Wojcicki, she told CNN last month that her platform would immediately remove all content that published ideas contrary to the WHO, to the WHO. Okay? That was her statement. And of course, I don't know if they've backed that up completely, but they certainly have been removing. I know, like, the very famous scientist from was it Bakersfield, California?
Yeah.
So they were putting out some info, and they were removed from YouTube because why? Look, okay, and I actually saw that video, and I see the point that some articles were kind of like pinpointing as something to discredit them completely. That that in their experimentation of the people that they sampled to try to get a mortality rate for COVID-19, that they're using people that went into their practice.
Yeah.
And yeah, of course that's so obviously not a good way to get a mortality rate. Okay. I don't even think that they were trying to say that was necessarily the mortality rate for everybody altogether.
Yeah.
They were very explicit that it was a sampling of people who went to their practice.
Yeah.
So it seems a little bit disingenuous, I think, like the way that they tried to discredit them without taking all of their ideas as a whole as to what they were saying. And look, even if they are completely idiotic or something like that, it's a bad frame of mind to try to shut them down because they go against a particular narrative. Instead, just criticize the part of the science that they're doing wrong.
Yeah.
And the reality is that much of what they were saying was completely consistent with the antibody tests that had been done by the time that they had made that video. Yeah. So like the antibody test that they did in California, and the one that they did in the town in Germany, and one that they did in a town of Colorado, all of those antibody tests were showing a much lower mortality rate than the WHO had predicted at the beginning. The WHO, whom Susan Wojcicki is defending and saying that she's going to take away anybody who goes against the WHO was saying at the very beginning they had pegged the mortality rate for COVID-19 at 3.4%, which is way, way, way off from the information that we do have now.
Yeah.
So look, good science is simply looking at that data. And questions about whether, hey, should we quarantine, should we not quarantine, that art of weighing all the different interests, right? Yes, you have economic interests that aren't just economic, because economic interests end up meaning real life and death situations for people.
Yeah,
okay,
definitely.
Whether they can feed their family or the fact that, you know, in a extreme quarantine that's not taking into consideration like different areas, different states, you could end up not going to the doctor and identifying that stage 2 cancer. And now, you know, because you went much later, now they're not catching until it's a stage 4 cancer.
Yeah.
Okay. Tons of situations like that are going to come up. So all of those things have to be weighed, and they're weighed in a political manner. There's not just a straightforward scientific answer to it. It's like the answer to why is the water boiling? Okay.
Yeah. Which and in that case, you know, it needs to come from people that have been appointed to those political positions.
Yeah.
Because of their experience, their wisdom, and how to make those decisions. You know, and I know we talked about this a little bit last week, or whenever we talked about it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and how, you know, a scientist, you know, of course, a scientist is going to look at something like this and be like, or they could look at it and be like, everyone needs to just stay at home and just shut everything down, right?
Oh, right, yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
But no, like the politician is going to be like, okay, well, how can we figure this out? This is what we need
Right,
to do.
and a good statesman,
Given the information that science has told
absolutely, a good statesman is getting, okay, scientists, give me your feedback. Okay, economist, give me your feedback. Okay, everybody, pastor, okay, tell me what's your opinion about this. Taking all things into consideration. And so again, these are political decisions. And look, is it good to have political fights? Of course, let's have political fights, okay? But man, don't be so shamefaced. And I say that for people in my position and people who are in a contrary position.
Yeah.
You start grabbing science as a bludgeon, dude, you're doing science wrong. Okay?
Yeah.
That's just the fact.
Yeah.
Just the fact.
Yeah.
Trust the science. So yeah, phrases like, okay, what's scientism? Follow the science.
Yeah.
Dude, that's not necessarily helpful. Okay? First of all, the whole point of science is that you will have diverse opinions, especially with something that's so new like this.
Yeah.
Some scientists that had more contrarian opinions from the norm. I talked about him before, Dr. Ioannidis from Stanford, who did a lot of work on this. And from the very beginning, he was like a clarion call. Man, there's a lot that we're doing wrong. Like, we shouldn't jump to these political conclusions based on the data that we have so far, based on the fact that we have so minimal data, actually.
Yeah.
David Katz from Yale, obviously an idiot. He was also saying that he also had contrary opinions about this. Sunetra Gupta from Oxford, clearly an idiot, right? Well, she was pointing out a lot of the problems that we had in the imperial college model that was done early on, which is what kind of initiated a lot of the jump to doing a full-blown quarantine.
Yeah.
So, and look, obviously you can tell from my tone that I'm skeptical about how we did the quarantine. Yeah. And I am in the sense that we made it last so long. I'd be completely on board with you in the first few weeks, first 2-3 weeks, where we saw that, hey, who knows what this is?
Yeah.
But as we start getting information, as we get data, as we get real data from the serology tests, why didn't we start changing our behavior? We're still behaving as if it's that 3.4% mortality rate that was very imprecisely attributed to it at the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay. But anyway, why don't let's actually have the next wing.
Boom.
Yeah.
We're
let's
getting
try
to
that.
the next one. Tabasco. So we're kicking up the heat a little bit more.
Got it.
I think we need to add a little bit. I need to add a little bit
more.
Tabasco to mine.
Yeah.
So the last one, Tabatia, was at 3,000 Scoville. We're going to 4,000 Scoville here.
Dude, I eat Tabasco like every day. It's one of my favorite sauces. It's best on eggs and French fries, just so you guys know. Oh, and pizza.
Fucking weirdo.
And pizza.
Give me pizza, that sounds okay. I'm not a huge fan of Tabasco. It just has this weird fermented taste to it.
I know it's very.
My laptop, dude.
Oh wow. I know it's very vinegary. I like that though.
Yeah.
Not on every sauce, but for Tabasco, it's great. So you said this is how many?
4,000.
4. Okay.
Wings are a little cold.
I love it. Love Tabasco. One of my favorites.
So science. Yeah. Let's talk about how Tabasco works.
No, and I gave you those quotes of scientism. I mean, look at this quote from Freeman John Dyson. Freeman John Dyson was a great theoretical physicist in the early 20th century. So here's what Freeman John Dyson says. The public has a distorted view of science because children are taught in school that science is a collection of firmly established truths. In fact, science is not a collection of truths. It is a continuing exploration of mysteries. This is exactly how I feel. And that's what, we were saying just now. I mean, it's not just about established facts. Okay, facts are facts. That's not scientific anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's the science is having the position of having a little bit of skepticism about everything and then applying proper methods when it comes to obtaining knowledge of the natural world. And I know, again, natural is a little bit of a fudgy word. What I mean by that, of course, is the what is physically observable with our physical senses.
Right, right, yeah.
Anyway, that's how I feel about this. I just kind of felt really compelled to. I know it's one of my hobby horses. I get it, as a science teacher.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It does frustrate me when we see just all these divides that occur, and so very often, like, we think that we're saying something scientific, and it's actually that the root of our differences kind of lies elsewhere. And look, the fact is, are there people in the media manipulating these kind of divides? Of course, absolutely.
For sure, yeah.
I think especially like in the U.S., where politically we are kind of a little bit, there's more of a schism. You kind of see the work about how you kind of see it work itself out, where we'll take a question like this and immediately politicize it in destructive ways.
Yeah.
In destructive ways, I mean by claiming the mantle of science.
Yeah.
Whereas like in Europe, they're a little bit more politically, a little bit more politically uniform. I know you have the different parties, but so much of that they already take for granted in their government is a little bit more uniform. So questions about science here don't become immediately politicized. So anyway,
definitely
something to look out for.
For sure.
So
something to look out for actually now.
Is
the pick-a-peppa.
Pick-a-peppa. Peter Piper.
I was going in a different direction. I was going pick-a-peppa. Wait, the pick a little, talk a little.
Oh, what's that from?
Music Man.
Oh, Music Man. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Okay, let's see.
Pick-a-peppa.
Yeah.
Apparently, this is like Jamaica's, ketchup. That's the word. You know.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll see. The Scoville apparently is like.
I gotta cleanse my palate.
We'll see. I didn't know if I trusted the website, but here we go.
Oh, okay. That tastes good.
It's a really good taste. I think one of the heavy ingredients, is Worcestershire. But I really don't think there's much heat to it.
I'm not getting the heat yet.
Yeah, me either.
I mean, pass the bottle. Pass the bottle, man. No, that was bad. Pass the bottle, man. Is that better? Okay. Yeah.
I think you're going kind of like almost.
Oh
Irish.
my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, it sounded freaking Irish there. Okay.
Here we go. Pass the bottle, man.
That's Irish.
That's what I heard.
Okay,
I heard you
right.
say.
I get it.
It's good. It's not hot. It's a good break.
Guys, get the sauce. Oh, very nice. Very nice, yeah. Jamaica. Good work.
Good work, Jamaica. Go, man. All right, guys. So now we're getting into things I like, things I hate. So today, I'm doing the things I like. Okay, so here we go. Things I like, guys. So yes, during this quarantine time, we're talking a lot about how we just don't agree, and I agree with you, Jim. I agree that the way the quarantine has been handled, I don't think is the right way, right? As far as, the length of time, and then just kind of the, not really being prepared, not having a plan for what's going to come. Mm-hmm. And, but in this time, I will say, something I've liked is really having this time with my family. Of course, I live with, we live in the same household, me and my two little kids, and we see each other, but we've been forced to be at home all the time. Mm-hmm. And, on top of being a teacher, I've also had to watch the two kids. Yeah. Because, Nicole's job, my wife's job has not changed, right? It's been the same, and it's been still normal load, right? And so for me, I've had to balance those two things, and I've had to come up with different ways to entertain a 4-year-old, and at first, there's that sense of like of like, oh, this is kind of annoying, like this is hard. But then once you kind of hit this a point where you're like, wow, like you just kind of step back and you see the joy that he gets from camping outside in our backyard, or from just a little pool, or from a new game that we ordered or something, or going outside and on a walk and pretending that we're pirates, you know, and the joy that he gets has really kind of put things in perspective for me to not take these moments for granted, right?
Sure.
And then just health-wise for like our daughter, for Liv, she, you know, she's getting spoiled and just having her parents around all the time. Yeah. Right.
That's invaluable.
Yeah, it's been very valuable. And just, you know, Nicole and I, like, not to get too cheesy, but like we've talked about how, you know, honestly, there's the jokes of like, oh, you know, being with your wife this whole time.
I know all those memes like, take the kids. Oh, dude, I'm tired of all the videos about like people saying, oh, the teachers, oh my gosh, you're like, tell me, Mrs. Anderson, like.
Yeah. I mean, like, chill out a little bit. Okay? Yeah. I mean, I do. Yes, in the sense of like there are like, this is not where I am in my phase of parenting, I guess. There are the teachers who are teaching like 5th grade, or they're teaching whatever grade, and then they're also teaching 2 other grades or 3 other grades from their other kids. Yeah, I get that being kind of difficult, right? Yeah. So that's a little bit different. So so maybe be more specific about that. Those of you who are parents who are teachers teaching other things, you know, yeah, more power to you, you know. Yeah. So but yeah, like I was saying, Nicole and I have both, we've said to each other, I love being with you this time. I don't, you know, we enjoy the time together. I'm not like, oh gosh, I'm stuck in my house with my wife. Some of you might think, oh, you've only been married for 5 years. It's hard being married for 25 years and being with this person stuck with them. No. Dang. Well, maybe if that's you, that's kind of really sad. The marriage I want in that time, right? Because I know our parents don't feel that way about each other. Sure. Right? Mm-hmm. So, again, what I've really liked is just having this time with them, you know, and it's been a blessing, and it's been really beautiful. Yeah. So, on that note, here we go. Let's kick it up a notch. We're going to Pain is Good, Louisiana style.
Oh, man. I have like a bunch of sauce on this one.
Yeah, dude. You have a ton. So we're cranking it up, dude.
All right.
We're at 13,000. And this is going to be hot.
Okay.
There's no getting around.
Dang. All right. That seems like that's 4 times more than some of these other ones. All right.
Didn't taste good. That's for sure. 13,000, not bad. I'm not like dying.
I'm not. As habanero, cayenne peppers, tomato puree, malt vinegar, paprika, spices, tamarind. I don't know. I'm trying to get some of the flavor. I'm not dying. I can take it okay. At first, it really seemed quite bitter.
Yeah.
But then I think the taste kind of got a little bit better.
Sweetness at the end, yeah. Okay. So far, dude, we're how many sauces in?
Most of them.
6 sauces in, and we're kicking butt, man.
Yeah. I mean, I feel some tingling in my lips. Do you have that? Okay.
I have some tingle. Yeah.
Yeah.
I still think, you know, the Valentina.
Yeah, dude, seriously. Valentina Black Label needs to be like over here somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like when I ate that, I was like, dude, this is the first one. Like that that hit me.
Me too. I was thinking the same thing. Hey, actually Tabasco was pretty hot too. Mm-hmm. But you eat Tabasco more often than I do.
Every day,
so I don't know,
almost.
So it was actually pretty on par with the Valentina.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I think that's right.
So here we go. Tell us what you hate.
Yeah, so things I hate. So I saw this article earlier this week, I think Monday, and dude, it blew my mind. And we don't usually go for like straight up political stuff, but dude, this is insane. Like what I saw from the fake New York Times. Okay, guys, seriously, New York Times, what the hell? I mean, you want to try to avoid the monikers from Trump? You have to do better than this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is Susan Faludi from the New York Times ran an article, and this is about the what's going on with Biden and the accusation from Tara Reid. And obviously, like, the first thing you think of is, okay, well, how are we going to handle this based on what went on with Brett Kavanaugh, you know?
Yeah.
The accusation that what's her name? Blasey Ford made against him. Mm-hmm. And now you have Tara Reid making a rape accusation of Joe Biden. And so what this New York Times article is about is the author saying that the hashtag Believe All Women was actually an alt-right creation. That nobody ever said believe all women. That the right made that up. That the left was saying that. that actually they just meant believe women in certain circumstances after you weigh the evidence, is basically the claim that she's making.
Okay.
And how did she back it up? Basically, the way she backed it up is she looked at who used the hashtag the most. And she said that most feminists who were like writing about this actually would use a hashtag that said believe women. But then the right, when they would criticize it, they would say like, oh, believe all women. Like, how does that make any sense?
Yeah.
And that's her evidence, that just a search of when the hashtag was used. Did they use more often believe women, or did they use more often believe all women? And she even grants that some feminists were using the hashtag believe all women, yeah. but that it wasn't the majority. And so therefore the characterization that everybody was making the claim that, oh man, they're saying believe all women, they're saying that was kind of made up by the right.
Yeah.
Dude, like, seriously? Like, I'm pretty sure everybody was on board. I'm old enough to remember what happened during the Brett Kavanaugh hearing.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the claim, I mean, am I crazy? I'm pretty sure the claim was, if a woman makes an accusation of rape, your de facto position should be to believe. Yeah. That's the de facto position. Mm-hmm. Okay? Yeah. And so obviously now the criticism with Biden is, well, wait a second, shouldn't the de facto position be to believe the accusation of Tara Reid?
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
And so many people are saying, oh, no, like, no, what we mean is, of course, that she needs to be given a fair hearing, but we need to weigh the evidence. And maybe she's lying. You know, it could be. So
what is it?
Oh, wait, can we just backtrack a little bit? What is the position that we should have about this? Should it be, based on what's between the lines in this article, that the correct position to have is to, of course, take any accusation seriously, but that we then need to weigh the evidence and not jump to conclusions whether somebody is innocent or guilty?
Right, yeah.
And that everybody deserves like Joe Biden, Brett Kavanaugh, that everybody deserves a fair defense.
Yeah.
Is that the position? Because I think that should be the position. So what's going on here? This is a clear, people use the phrase gaslighting. It becomes very popular to just kind of throw that out there whenever. Uh-huh. This is gaslighting.
Yeah.
Okay. You're telling me that I'm wrong in what I remembered when it's very clearly remembered. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Pretty sure everybody's on board that that's what the claim was from the feminist left.
Yeah.
That how dare you question a woman who is saying that she was raped? I'm pretty sure that's what it was all about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is just insane because it happens so many times with things where, you see those clips of people saying one thing and then just completely saying the contrary. That, to me, that's just blatant. To me, that's blatant. Yeah. Blatant retconning. That is blatant retconning. Rewriting history. It seems almost childish. It is childish, dude. Like, this is insane. Like, oh, yeah. Okay. No, that's not what it is, actually. Yeah. Like. Okay, so frankly, the fake New York Times, okay.
You're fake. You're fake news. Okay, you're fake. Okay.
Dude, your Trump voice is getting better. And on that note, I think we need to go on to the next
Let's
sauce,
go.
man.
Let's do it. What do you got?
Wait, were you done with your...
Oh, yeah, no, that's
okay,
it. That freaking
good.
sucks, man.
Here we go. Number 7. Okay, this one is called...
Oh, careful.
Dirty Dick's Hot Pepper Sauce with a Tropical Twist.
Tropical. Okay.
Got a tropical
That sounds encouraging. I think I have a fair amount.
Yeah,
that's
me too.
That's a
Here
fair
we go.
amount right there.
Let's go for it.
Okay.
It was good.
Mm-mm.
Ooh. Ooh, it comes after.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's getting a little hotter. We're at 21,000. We're at 21,000 Scoville. It's getting a little hotter there. Yeah.
Hasn't really hit me yet. I'm like past the sauce, man.
We are transitioning. Beautiful, smooth transition, right?
Oh, yeah.
Going in to our top 5. Here we go. Top 5, bringing it back. Now, I'm in charge of the top 5 today. And Jim, of course, you're going to give your input. You know, 'cause this is a fun one today.
Yeah, what do you got?
And today for the top 5, we are doing the top 5 office scenes. The Office, the show. If you haven't seen The Office, you need to crawl out from underneath your rock.
Everybody's seen The
and watch
Office.
The Office. Okay? So number 5, we are starting with Prison Mike. Prison Mike.
Yeah, that's great.
Prison sounds horrible.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Andy. Thanks.
Prison Mike, what's the very, very worst thing about prison?
Don't encourage him, Dwight.
The worst thing about prison was the Dementors. They were flying all over the place, and they were scary, and then they'd come down and they'd suck the soul out of your body, and it hurt.
You know,
Dude, that's solid.
it's
That's
so good.
solid.
So look up Prison Mike.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go number 4. So number 4 is The Dinner Party. Oh my gosh, it's a nerve-wracking episode and the scenes, but it's also like hilarious.
Well, right, because like all the times that he gets like emasculated.
Yeah,
from,
so you get the famous quote of like, do you know what physical toll or so? What is the physical toll? I'm butchering this.
Yeah.
I said that I wanted to have kids, and you said that you wanted me to have a vasectomy. What did I do? And then, when you said that you might want to have kids, and I wasn't so sure, who had the vasectomy reversed? And then when you said you definitely didn't want to have kids, who had it reversed back? Snip, snap, snip, snap, snip, snap. I did. Okay. You have no idea the physical toll the 3 vasectomies have on a person.
There's multiple
Oh,
vasectomies.
yes,
Snip,
yes,
snap,
yes.
Snip, snap, snip, snap, right? and then they're just like going crazy. And then you get the classic scene where he
TV.
he shows his little TV and he's like,
My plasma.
My plasma. He
My
moves it like,
plasma
he
screen.
moves it like an inch.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's
man.
hilarious. And just the tensions that
Yeah.
arise is just insane.
Hey, so
This
far
is
you
so
haven't
funny.
said anything wrong. I mean,
Yeah.
who knows, right? Who knows if that's actually 5 and 4? But
Right, yeah.
I'm not going to question it.
Yeah.
That seems fine.
Here we go. So number 3, I put I kind of cheated. I put Dwight and Jim's pranks.
Oh, okay.
You know, because obviously it's multiple scenes, but it's just you can't name
Just
one
pick
and
one?
not the others. You know?
Oh, dude,
So, like,
Future Dwight.
Future.
That's the best
yeah.
prank.
It's
I
really
love
good. I noted some of the best ones too are like the death prank. Where
Which
like,
one was that?
So it's when they go to Tallahassee.
Uh-huh.
And this is season 9.
Oh, yes,
you
yes,
know?
yes,
It's
yes.
season 9,
Yeah.
and
Dude,
season
that
9
was
there's no
great.
Michael.
I know.
But there's some gold in it.
That was a
you know?
golden prank.
And where like it's like he walks in and
It's
says
like
on-
a crime scene kind of
and,
thing.
yeah, and on the wall in blood, you know, it says Dwight did it. He's like, what? And then he opens the closet door and Jim falls and he's full of full of blood and he's just freaking out. Or like Asian Jim, you know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He comes in and
Yeah, that's okay.
I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
You know, but there's a lot of great ones,
yeah,
classic
yeah.
ones. you
I
know,
can't think beyond
going
like
from
Future
the
Dwight.
Jello
Yeah.
stuff in the Jello all the way
Sure.
to the Dead brink. Yeah, so that was 3.
Okay.
Here we go. Let's go. Actually, number 3, we're going to take a nice break there. And let's go to the next sauce.
What do we have next?
We got pain 100%.
Okay, well, that sounds fantastic.
Got a lot of sauce on
Truth and advertisement. Oh, dude, I drenched it.
So this one, dude, are you ready?
I'm
We're
ready.
Going 20,000 more. We're at 40,600 Scoville.
40,000. Okay. I'm not sure what that's going to be like.
Oh, I got a lot on my lips.
It's so
This is-
tomatoey.
Oh, it's too much.
It's like freaking tomato puree with freaking heat on there.
I think that's what it is. Yeah, this is hot. Ooh. We're at.
Oh, snap.
We're entering into the danger
Oh, snap. Dude.
zone.
Dude. Oh, my, I can't talk.
That's the whole point. Okay, so here we go.
For a second, I couldn't swallow. It was like painful in my throat. Oh, wow.
You had a lot. Oh, my lips.
Yeah, it was a huge dab of sauce on there. Oh, I can't. Oh,
It gets worse, you know. So here we go. Number two. Number 2, I have to say, is the Dundies. I'm sweating. Oh.
it's like timeout.
We have to keep going, Jim.
I'm going. Yeah, let's go.
Number 2, the Dundies. This is season 2, episode 1. Mm-hmm. And the season comes in with a banger. And it's so funny. You know, it's the awards show pretty much that Michael puts on for The Office. And it's so funny because it starts off with him, the intro, he's coming in, he's rapping, and he doesn't have like the background, like just the track.
Oh, right.
He's rapping with already the rapping. So he's rapping over the rapping.
Dave, drop a load on 'em.
The Dundies! How can I explain it? I want you, I created. I'm so happy that you all made it. You never have to work so hard and feel no one notices. You're just a name and number and no one even says hello.
How many brothers out there know just what I'm getting?
Oh, yeah, I remember.
It is hilarious. I'm like, I'm sweating.
Sorry.
Hardcore.
Yeah.
So we get like funny parts of this whole scene where, like for instance, he looks over at Stanley.
You said we could bring our families.
I did, and why didn't you, Stanley?
I did. My wife's name is Terry.
Well, I'm looking forward to meeting Terry.
It's this person whose hand I'm holding, Michael.
Shut it.
Kevin, he got the don't follow him award because he stunk up the bathroom. Just crazy stuff, just really funny. And then you get drunk Pam.
I'm in trouble, guys.
You want to go to the next
It's
one?
like 100% pain.
Yeah.
Or it's like paying 100%.
Do you want to go to the next one, or do you want to?
I need a minute, dude. I need a minute.
Wow, you're blowing through that
Yeah.
milk.
Yeah. That was, dude, honestly, for me, it was
Don't
like,
be
no
a
problem,
pansy,
no
dude.
problem, no problem, no problem, no problem, tap out. That's where I'm at.
That's what I thought we were gonna get to this next one.
Oh, okay.
Okay, let's go, Jim.
Okay.
Let's go for it. This one right here, guys, is called Da Bomb.
Dude, I don't want to.
The Bomb Insanity. We went from 40,600, Jim, to 135,600.
But I have to, like, go like that. Cause
It's okay, you can take a little bit off. Yeah, no, this is
Yeah.
a huge step, dude.
it's meant to be coated. I think that was the problem, too, with that last one.
Here we go.
Okay.
Let's go for it.
Dude, I'm just afraid I'm not going to be able to swallow like that one.
Or
Here.
oh, it's nasty.
Oh.
Oh, oh, dude. Oh, oh my.
Uh-oh.
Oh my gosh.
Uh-oh. Wow, that is so bitter and gross.
Oh, my throat. Okay, this.
My throat hurts.
That leads me to.
Dude, what happened to my Mexican jeans?
I don't know. Oh man.
So what kind of peppers you got there? Is that also habanero or like ghost pepper? What is that?
It's habanero, and chipotle. Dude, I can't breathe. Oh my gosh. Okay, the number one scene in The Office for me is the
Oh no, it's kicking me.
is the CPR training. Oh, I'm hallucinating right now. I feel like. Oh, dude,
This is impossible.
the best part of this scene is that everyone has their like show. Oh, dude, I can't focus.
I know. It's too bad.
You know, everyone shines, right? Kelly Kapoor gets up, starts dancing. Andy's like singing, right? And then you just get this. And then and Dwight's like, oh, it's dead. He puts the face on the thing on his head. It's just really funny. Go see it. CPR. That's top 5. Isn't that lovely?
That's fantastic.
if you guys, this is insane. If you disagree, let us know. Comment below. Send us email. Tell us what we forgot. What I forgot. Okay? I want you guys, before we close out, I think we can do it, Jim. We've come this far.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Dude, I feel like such a pansy.
Hellfire.
But I can't function.
I can't function either. I feel, I got, okay.
Yeah, we have to.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
But I'm putting some of it back because I don't want to take too much of it.
I have it well coated.
We're on the last one. This one is called Hellfire. It says 1.5 million. We went from 135,600 to 1.5 million plus.
Wait, that's not, the last one was 100 something thousand?
135,000.
And this is 1.5 million?
We're about to die.
Oh my gosh.
Here we go.
Hang on.
At least it's not like super gross.
I don't know if I'm still reeling from the past. Oh, whoa.
Oh, thank. Oh my gosh. Dude. Oh.
Dude, what do you got next? Like a bottle of pepper spray?
Dude. Oh my gosh. Guys, make sure to go to YouTube, watch our videos, go to Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, listen to our podcast. Let us know what you think.
Sean Evans, how do you do it, man?
How does he do this all the time?
I don't know. This is rough.
We didn't even do what they do. They dabbed the last one.
Oh, I have it in my nostrils now, dude.
Dude. Oh my gosh. Let us know what you think. Are we pansies?
Yeah.
Go buy these.
My nose.
Try it out yourself. It's insane. Remember, guys, truth is too important to give up on. Let us know what you think. We love you guys. I'm starting to get dude, I'm getting lightheaded. This is insane.
I'm starting to get better. I don't know how.
There's pockets of clarity.
Yeah.
But then it hits you all of a sudden. There's flares.
Hey guys, don't try this at home. We're professionals, obviously. And we got that Mexican DNA, so we're going to be safe. But until next time, thank you for joining us, guys.